Well, welcome to your midweek Weather Plus forecast. I'm Hector Mendoza, and we're going to get into what you can expect through the rest of the week and heading into the weekend as we have a seasonable start to June, but those temperatures are slowly going to start to tiptoe up as like it forgot its keys, just because we're going to see a gradual warming trend, and then those 90s are making a comeback for the weekend. But taking a look and revisiting some of the maps we saw as we got earlier into the week, we're looking at our precipitation outlook for the month of June. As we zoom in closer to what we're expecting here in Idaho, we're expecting some of those conditions to trend drier than normal, although we can't necessarily kind of say that that's something that we're expecting to go for sure, but it is likely. And a lot of these long-term models are just kind of indicating some of the drier conditions we're expecting through the month of June. Same thing as we're looking at our temperature outlook as we get towards the rest of the month of June. We are looking like we have a moderate chance to stay above normal for many of those temps. And there you can see some of those colors. Those darker colors is where we're indicating some of those above normal temperatures, inching closer to that. And we've already seen that for the month of May as we ended it with temperatures into the triple digits. And we're expecting to see those, again, 90-degree temperatures to return as we get closer into the weekend. But as we're taking a look at our satellite and radar picture, we're going to continue to stay just kind of nestled between this low pressure system off into the east and that Pacific high ridge of high pressure that's going to make its way through as we get closer into Friday and continue on into the weekend. But as we take a look at the futurecast here in the U.S. and just kind of looking at how that low system is affecting other portions into the east, we're seeing most of that precipitation making its way in Wyoming, Montana, places in Utah, and we're going to continue to see that for the rest of the week. But as we get closer into Saturday, that's when we start to see a bit more of those drier conditions that will continue in, not just in Idaho, but again in some of those spots that early on into the week had seen some of that precipitation due to this low system that continues to make its way on into the east. Now, I did mention that ridge of high pressure. That is going to take its time making its way on into the coast and then hitting our region. So here's us looking and fast forwarding that through the rest of Wednesday, hitting into Thursday and Friday. That's when we start to see those temperatures again slowly start to trend up, but it finally make its way on into the coast. Then as we get through the rest of the day, Friday, head on into Saturday and continue into Sunday, that ridge of high pressure settles in, and that's what's going to ramp up our temperatures. That brings it back into the 90s, stay steady Monday, and then continues to drop as we head on into Tuesday, as we do anticipate a weak system that comes in, a low pressure system that brings us a chance for increased clouds on Tuesday, an increased amount of moisture that could bring some precipitation up into some of the higher elevations, maybe some isolated thunderstorms, but we'll keep an eye on that as we continue in through the rest of the week and getting closer into Tuesday and Wednesday, as that's when we're anticipating that cooling trend to really make its way through and then start to see some of those cooler temperatures. But temperatures do look to stay into the 90s as we head on into Tuesday, so not very cool, but we are expecting it to drop from what we saw on Sunday and Monday. But as we're looking at the next couple of days, and if you're planning and have that sort of yard work on your checklist, looking pretty good the next couple of days as we head on into the wrap of the work week. But as we get on into Saturday, you'll start to maybe want to do that either early on into the morning or later on into the evening, as those will be the cooler temperatures as we are expecting to get back into the 90s. And this is the trend that we're looking for the next 5 days, as we're going to climb up, expecting to get about 4 degrees shy from those triple digit readings Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday into Monday, that is. And so that's what we're tracking in terms of impact, is that we don't really have much to talk about as we head on into Saturday, but it will be Sunday and Monday that those hot temperatures, what we're going to really pay attention to. So sunscreen, regular breaks in the shade, and of course hydrating often and frequently is going to be very important heading into the weekend. But as we take a look at some spots into the mountains, looking at the next 7 days, we are anticipating temperatures back into the upper 80s, mid 80s there for Sunday and Monday, and seeing some of those clouds come in as we do anticipate that system that could bring along some moisture for some areas. And then we're looking here at the 7-day forecast for Twin Falls, so portions of the Magic Valley into the 90s as well for this weekend. Again, we're seeing a bit of those dip in temperatures as we get towards the middle of next week, and then pretty similar here as we're expecting to get some spots into the 90s. We could see some spots maybe hit the triple digits, not necessarily likely, but some models are indicating that there is a very, very small chance that some spots could hit triple digits, but we'll keep a focus on that and pay attention to it as we get closer into Sunday and Monday, and then we'll continue on with temperatures well above average into the upper 80s as we head on into Wednesday.